The following lesson is about broken arpeggios. An arpeggio, for those of you who don't know, is basically the notes of a chord played one note at a time. For example, in the case of, say, G major, the notes to make up a G major chord are a G, a B, and a D. And so thus what I've just played is an arpeggio where you're going G one note at a time, B one note at a time, and D one note at a time, which is often used in walking bass lines in jazz, rockabilly, even rock music and everything from punk to blues and everything else uses these types of bass lines. So the idea with doing a broken arpeggio is that you're not necessarily playing them in the straight order from G, B, D to a G, for example. You can break it up to make the bass line more interesting into a G, D, B, and a high G, or backwards as well, which makes your bass line more interesting than just running up and down an arpeggio, which can get pretty boring. So the idea of this exercise is basically I'll end up playing through the sort of the 6 major chords that you'll end up playing in most music, which are basically the G major. For example, I'll do all these examples in G. So we've got G major, G minor, G dominant 7th, or G7 as it's commonly known as, G major 7, G minor 7, and the G half diminished chord, which is also can be known as the G minor 7 flat 5, which is used a lot in sort of jazz and sort of minor blues tunes as well. So they're sort of the main chords you probably come across as a bass player playing sort of most music. So basically I'm doing all the examples in G, so you can then learn. The idea is to learn the patterns that I'm going to play in these examples, which you can see on my website. And once you get these patterns down, you can simply shift them up and down to whatever key you want to do. So all of these examples will be, say, in G, but then you can also shift it up a couple of frets, and you're playing in A, for example, which is the beauty of playing bass guitar and in guitar in general. Once you get a pattern down, you can just shift it up and down to change keys, which makes life pretty simple, which is not so easy on a piano or a saxophone or something else. So here we go with the first one, which is G major. So this is the G major broken arpeggio. We're basically skipping every other note in the arpeggio as we go up, so you'll sort of hear what I'm going to do. So what I do often too is when I'm practicing exercises like this, I also play with the drum machine, which will help develop your sense of timing and groove as well, so you can sort of ensure that you're playing consistently in time as you would with a drum in a real situation. So I'll just get it going and we'll play the G major arpeggio, broken arpeggio. Okay, here we go with the G major broken arpeggio. Okay, the next one is the G minor broken arpeggio. Okay, the next one is the G dominant 7th broken arpeggio, which is basically your G major chord with the F natural and it making it the G7 or the G dominant 7th chord. Okay, now we'll do the G major 7, which is basically your G7 chord, but you have an F sharp in this case, making it the major 7th chord. following that we have the G minor 7th chord. Okay, now we have the G half diminished chord, which is also known as the G minor 7 flat 5 chord. Basically, it's known as that because you have, instead of having a regular G chord, a minor or major, you have a G to a D, making the 5th interval. In this case, you'll have a G to a D flat, making the tritone interval, which is that nice evil sound used in a lot of metal music there with the devil's music tritone. So here we go with the G half diminished broken arpeggio. So there you go. So there were the basically the six major sort of broken arpeggios. So we had the major, the minor, dominant 7th, minor 7th, major 7th, and the G half diminished chord. So there you go. Happy practicing, and hopefully make your bass lines more interesting and fun.